Welcome back to Life Worth Chasing. I'm your host, Chase Maher, and this show is about helping entrepreneurs build their business around their dream lifestyle. What up, homies? So, what I wanted to do on this episode was try a little something different. I'm going to start making a question either on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, somewhere where I get a lot of engagement on it. It'll have to do with either real estate or personal finance or travel, where I'll ask a question and then based off the feedback, it'll be a this or that kind of answer. Which side are you? Are you on the A side or the B side? And really get a sense for how you all think in terms of finances, real estate, lifestyle and travel decisions, things like that. And the first one that I did it on Facebook. I got 104 comments, which is pretty good for my page. And I want to first ask and preface this. If you like this style of podcast, please shoot me a DM on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, something, and let me know so that I can do more of them. And if you have a question that you really, really want me to ask, I'll go ahead and I'll ask it, and we'll see what the engagement is. We'll see what kind of feedback we get, and we'll go from there. But this one was pretty fun for me. So the question was, and I asked it on August 13th at 7:30 p.m. on Facebook. Maybe I'll make this like a repeating once a month kind of thing or something, but I'll let you guys know if I decide to do that. By the way, if you're not, you can shoot me a friend request on Facebook or follow me, and then you can jump in and be involved in the next question. Would you take a $20,000 lump sum or $500 a month indefinitely? The $20,000, your taxes are 33%, and the $500, your taxes are 15%. Now, I want to clear some things up that I didn't think were going to be big issues in the comments. Some people don't know what the word indefinitely means, and they could Google it before they commented on Facebook, but that's okay. Google is your friend, though. Indefinitely basically means without a term limit. So this could go on forever or until it stops. And in this case, it would go on forever until you stop it. And I also found some people have no financial literacy whatsoever, and that's okay. And that some of the smartest minds that I know, all of them picked one side, and I'll explain that at the end. So with this question, I'll repeat it again. Would you take a $20,000 lump sum or $500 a month indefinitely? The $20,000, your taxes are 33%, and the $500, your taxes are 15%. So if I were to do the math for you so that you don't have to wreck while you're driving, $20,000 times 0.67 to get you the 33% is 13.4 would be your net after taxes with the 20K, and the 500 would be $425 a month. So let's times that by 12, 5,100 versus 13.4, whatever, okay? So where I got this question from is very simple. On many fix and flips, we're going to be using an average price of like $100,000 to $120,000, $125,000 priced home that we buy at. We put in some money, we sell it at around $200,000, and after paying interest on our hard money loan, after paying our rehabbers, after paying our taxes, everything like that, our cost of sale, the agents to sell it, let's just come out with a number that we make $20,000 on this flip, okay? Or we could refinance this property with a traditional loan. We could put a long-term renter in there, and we could cash flow on the really good ones about $500 a month, okay? So there's more into this question than what I could put on Facebook, and I didn't want to confuse anybody. And what I've learned with these kind of questions is the more simple I make it, the more engagement I get. But for your senses, we're dealing with the fix and flip. And what I find a lot of flippers do is they would rather take the $20,000 lump sum when they could just refinance it using the BRRRR strategy, and they could net anywhere from $400 to $500 a month cash flow and keep it. And the benefits of keeping it are your tax write-offs. You still have that $20K in equity in the property. You have a tax write-off with the interest on the loan. You have a renter paying down your mortgage. I mean, there's all kinds of benefits. And it was interesting that the majority, about 90% of the answers on this Facebook post, people said they'd take the $500 a month. But what I found in reality, when push comes to shove and people have the 20 grand sitting in front of them, they take the 20 grand. So let's go through some of these questions and answers. Some of them are pretty funny, and it'll give you an insight into the mind of some people that are responding on these types of posts so that you can kind of see which camp you sit in. So the first comment is from me, and I want to say again, there's no right or wrong answer. Everyone has different needs and goals. There's some people that need that 20 grand. There's some people that don't, and they like the cash flow of the $500 a month. All right. So right off the bat, we got a couple people saying 500, 500. And Chris makes a really good point. Listen, $500 monthly, that's what I want. It's guaranteed. The $20,000 now is nice, but in the long run, you make more. So in about 31 months, so in about 2.5 years, you're already at the lump sum money. And then after that, you're totally in the green, which is pretty cool. Chris makes a good point. Kudos, Chris. All right, Greg says depends on the situation. Greg is that kind of guy, I guess you could say, where he's just going to comment on a or B question, and then he's going to say it depends. Why even comment? But I guess there's always got to be one of those kind of people, right? Kevin makes a good point. He says, old me would have said 20K, new me says 500. This is Kevin. He was on the podcast episode a few weeks ago, Kevin Stimpson, where he talked about how he used to be the kind of guy that blows money, but now that he's smart with his money, he'll take the cash flow. Boom, ding, ding, ding. Love it, bro. All right, this is probably my favorite comment of the post. Blake says, I'd rather do my own thing and invest accordingly. With my disposable, I'd probably buy a 1998 red label Bentley Arnage like that Puffy video for like 60K and shit on everyone at the red light, pulling off being 32, single with no kids. Awesome, Blake. I'm pretty stoked for you. And I told him I can't hate on it, and he said exactly, 32, single, no kids. What was Jehovah, by the way, driving in the 1996 Dead Presidents video? I don't know, Blake. I don't really recall the 1996 music video, but I guess you're saying that's what you want. I'm not really sure about that. We got another 500 a month, and then Blake jumps back in with a photo of the 2004 Bentley Arnage, and we get into a little back and forth banter between him and Scott. Scott asks, what's the maintenance on that kind of car? And Blake says, it pays to play. If that's not in your head at Jump Street, then get the fuck out. Oh my gosh. So they go back and forth for a little bit. It's pretty hilarious. At the end of the day, I think Blake, I'm sorry, buddy. If the car makes you happy, do your thing. But I think it's a little short-sighted, my friend. And they go for about 20 comments where all Blake talks about is telling Scott to F off because if he sees him at a red light, he's going to burn him. Okay, buddy. All right, moving on. Brandon, who is an agent in Virginia Beach, I grew up with him. He's a great guy. He says he'd take the $20,000, put a down payment on a crib or two to flip, pocket the profits, move to Indo, never pay his taxes, live like a king. Hey, man, that's what you want. It works for you, man. Tyler and Daniel, two really, really intelligent guys that I know, they both took the $500 a month. Nicholas, $500 a month. Kevin, $500 a month. And so at the end of the day, I want to get into this post right here because this is a comment by Landon that was super calculated and very thoughtful on the numbers and data behind this. So if you're ever in a situation where you can take a large lump sum or you can take a smaller monthly cash flow, just put it into the numbers, run the data on it, do the math, as people would say, and figure out what actually is the best scenario for you and your position. So Landon says, hey, I calculated the return you would need to be indifferent. So meaning he calculated what kind of return would you need with the $20,000 in an investment to have the same type of return that you're getting with the $500 a month for it to be indifferent. So for them to be break even, and then anything above that, you're in the green. So he calculated that with the $20,000 investment, you would have to get a return of over 25% for it to be worth it to not just take the $500 a month. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know of any 25% investment that's as passive as a free $500 a month. So the math shows you right there that in this scenario, take the cash flow. Great job, Landon. We get some more and more people back and forth. And then I wanted to jump to another pretty funny one where Mia says she would take the 20,000, she'd buy a whole Bitcoin with it and sit out till 2021. Hey, if that's what you want to do, that's great. I do invest in Bitcoin, but for this scenario, I would take the sure thing and I would take the $500 a month, because at the end of the day, that Bitcoin could go to zero, but this sure thing of $500 a month, you could be taking that $500 a month and you could be dollar cost averaging. If you don't know what that means, Google it. You could be dollar cost averaging $500 a month or $125 a week into Bitcoin over time. And then when you feel like you don't want to buy any more Bitcoin, you still have that $500 a month. So remember, kids, take the cash flow. So at the end of the day, I thought of this because I have a scenario of a property in Norfolk, Virginia that I'm buying right now. And the numbers basically work out like this. I'll be buying it at about $115,000. We're going to put about $40,000 to $45,000 into it. All right. And it'll be worth about $220,000. Now, it would cost me 8% just to sell the property with realtor commissions and closing costs and all that, okay? It's also going to probably take 3 months to fix it up, another 3 months to sell it. So I'm sitting on interest payments. And I could come out, I would net, if I sold it as a flip, probably somewhere around $20,000 to $25,000 after paying off my private investors, paying off the rehabbers, paying the taxes, paying everybody, okay? Or I could fix it up in 3 months, and instead of paying that 8% cost of sale, I could refinance into a long-term traditional mortgage with a conventional loan at a really great interest rate and move a renter in there and net somewhere around $450 to $500 a month positive cash flow. Now, you have some expenses with the rental property and all that, but since it'll be a remodeled property, my expenses would be very low. So I asked this question because eventually I want to start sharing more and more about why I decide to do the decisions that I do on these properties. But in this particular scenario, because it's a great rental asset, I will most likely be planning to refinance it as a rental property. So I wanted to ask you guys, would you take the 20K or would you take the $500 a month? And I was really impressed with how many people took the 500. And for those of you that would take the 20,000, if you really need the money now, that's great. But if you don't, please run the math if you're ever in this kind of situation. All right. If you liked this kind of podcast episode where I asked a question about finances, real estate, lifestyle, or travel, and you enjoy hearing what other people are thinking and you want to be involved with it, jump on my Instagram or my Twitter or my Facebook. Keep out for the questions. Shoot me a DM if you have a specific question you'd like me to ask, and I'll see you on the next show.
Thanks for listening to Life Worth Chasing with me, your host, Chase Maher. If you like the show, smash that subscribe button, leave me a rate and review. You know what? Screenshot the show, share it on Instagram, tag me at I am Chase Maher, and I'll repost it. There's hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there, and you've made the decision to listen to mine, which is so cool. I'll see you on the next show.